Hey everybody, it's Mr. Hasquin, social studies teacher, just sharing some knowledge. So just more things you should know by being alive. And today another president and founding father, James Madison. I want to talk about him from, what about his intellectual legacy, his role in founding documents, his presidency, and then ultimately some complications in his legacy. So we're just going to try to keep it historically grounded and go from there. So our friend James Madison here was born in 1751 in Virginia. He was quite small in stature, only about 5'4". He was under 120 pounds, but he did make up for all that with a great mind. He studied history and philosophy and political theory quite intensely, especially Enlightenment thinkers like Montesquieu and Locke. Now, he was quite quiet and introverted. Madison preferred his quill over speeches. His words helped define an entire system of government. That's why we call him the father of the Constitution. At the Constitutional Convention in 1787, Madison came prepared. He showed up with the Virginia Plan. That's just a bold blueprint of a new government, 3 branches of government, checks and balances, and ideas for representation within the legislature. It was worlds above what the Articles of Confederation were. He took meticulous notes during the convention and gave us our best record of what actually happened in that room. He also helped to write the Federalist Papers, along with Alexander Hamilton and John Jay. He anonymously published these essays defending the new Constitution under the name Publius. Madison's Federalist number 10 and number 51 remain some of the most important political writings in American history. And they discuss how to control factions and how to separate powers. As far as the Bill of Rights go, ironically, Madison at first didn't think a Bill of Rights was necessary for the Constitution. He thought the Constitution already limited government enough, and most of the states already had Bills of Rights attached to their state constitutions, so it would just be redundant. But after hearing concerns from some of the anti-federalists and the states, he changed his mind. And he personally drafted 27 different amendments. That doesn't seem right. It's in the 20s. And 12 of them are eventually what were reconciled between the House and the Senate, and 10 were approved to become the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights protects freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, the right to bear arms, protections against unreasonable searches and seizure, and more. So yeah, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, James Madison's fingerprints are all over these things. Now, in 1809, Madison became the 4th president of the United States, and his biggest challenge during his presidency was the War of 1812, almost like part 2 of the American Revolution. It was a messy, controversial conflict that included the British burning Washington, D.C., the writing of the Star-Spangled Banner, and America's eventual military survival. Though it wasn't a clear win, it boosted American nationalism, and it confirmed the United States would endure on the world stage. Fun fact here is Madison is responsible for being in combat while on horseback, leading troops, so to speak, not actually fighting himself. His wife, Dolly, is responsible for saving the Washington portrait from the White House before it completely burned. James Madison believed deeply in limited government, individual liberty, and checks on power. But like many founders, his legacy is quite complicated. He enslaved over 100 people at his Virginia plantation, Montpelier, even as he wrote about human rights and liberty. He supported gradual emancipation, but that didn't come about until later in life. But he never freed enslaved people in his will. He was brilliant, but he was also a product of his time. And like Jefferson, his ideals often outpaced his own actions. Now, why is Madison relevant? Does it still matter today? James Madison helped build the structure of American democracy. If you've ever debated the First Amendment, argued about executive power, or studied checks and balances, you're talking about Madison. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, nor a battlefield hero. He was a theorist, a strategist, and one of the best political minds in American history. Like, comment, share, follow. If you thought anything here was great, you enjoyed it, learned something new, and I'll throw together some more things you should know about being alive. Because without James Madison, we wouldn't have a different government. We wouldn't just have a different government, I guess I'm trying to say. We might not have a democracy at all. Anyway, thanks for watching.